special guest with us, Dr. Scott Mitchell. And Dr. Mitchell has an office right across the parking lot. That's how I met him. And he just loves health, he loves the Lord, and he loves his patients. He really, really loves to talk to people about the body. He has a great background. He grew up in Glendale, Arizona, graduated from high school here, was a 4-year letterman in varsity soccer. After high school, he continued his education in soccer at Phoenix College, and he was a 2-year academic All-American, just like you. Yeah. He eventually graduated from Arizona State University with Bachelor of Science in Cell Biology and Physiology. So I told you we had a really smart guy coming. In January of 2002, he continued his education at Northwestern Health Sciences University in Bloomington, Minnesota, where it's what, 2 degrees today? Where he earned his Doctor of Chiropractic. After graduating chiropractic school, he moved back to Arizona and started with a practice down in Fletcher Heights, and in 2009, he went on his own. And he has the pleasure of working with IronMan athletes, the Seattle Sounders, and Columbus Crew professional soccer teams. Dr. Mitchell's on a mission to win the Valley of the Sun for chiropractic care and helping people take control of their health. He's not here to sell you anything today. I just want you to know that. He's here because he's a friend, and a lot of the guys already see him, and he just wants to talk about the power and importance of health, especially in these times of what's going on right now. He's spare time, enjoys spending time with his friends and family, and still loves to play and coach soccer. So let's give an iron sharpens iron welcome to Dr. Scott Mitchell.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to let you know I am biased when it comes to healthcare. Most of you may or may not have had chiropractic. Let's see, has anybody had chiropractic care? I just kind of want to know where I'm talking to. Cool. Chiropractic care, we're an all-natural healthcare, so we actually don't prescribe medication. We don't do surgery, nor do I want to, because that's really not in our philosophy. Pretty much in every religion or everything that we really do or are passionate about, there should be a philosophy behind it. And how radical you want to take that philosophy is up to you. So that's my philosophy. So we'll go along that lines. I'll try not to bash pharma too much, but I do believe pharma is the devil. Overall, if you guys recognize that picture, I know it's kind of hard to see, but that's actually Woods Canyon Lake. You guys ever been to Woods Canyon Lake? So we like the outdoors. My family liked to camp. So that's the spillway. So they had like 4 inches of rain that one day. And that was like a flowing river. So I actually took that picture. So at the bottom of this quote, that's B.J. Palmer. B.J. Palmer is a modern founder of chiropractic. I'm not going to talk too much about chiropractic, but I will some, because it is real healthcare. And hopefully that's where things are really going, is real healthcare. I think a lot of what we get is sick care, or we're reacting to something that has occurred versus being proactive about our health. So you guys all know this. You all can read. I'm not going to read it to you. One thing it doesn't say in there is that God created man with too many body parts, not enough chemicals in him. So God did create in his own image, and he wants us to be like him. So this is probably my favorite health quote from Thomas Edison. So 5 pillars of chronic illness. Don't get too caught up in this, but to me, there's a lot of causes of disease, but I know one of the major causes is that of too much and that of too little. So if things are out of balance, and the body loves homeostasis, the body likes balance. So we'll talk about like pH, for instance. The body likes the pH at 7.4. If it deviates 0.2 high or too low, then that's lethal. You guys familiar with the pH scale, how that works? Just give you the quick rundown. pH 1 is like acid, super strong. pH 14 be like chalk. So the idea of the body, it's always a self-regulating machine. So if I get one thing out of this for you guys, would be to think about your body is not just this body or this temple, but it is like millions and trillions of cells, bacteria, and viruses, and it's called a symbiotic relationship. So the body's always trying to reach homeostasis. So if that homeostasis is out of balance, and that's where problems come in. The idea of what I try to do with all my patients is shift their health, not like complete 360 degrees, but if we can get a couple degrees in the right direction actually toward health, that's going to make a big difference in the way you feel and just the way of overall how your life goes. So I think a lot of what we see with chronic disease and illness, and that's a lot of what plagues a lot of people is chronic disease and illness, is related to all of these deficiencies and toxicities. So when we look at overall health, sometimes we blame it on bad luck or bad genes. I mean, yes, there is a portion of that is bad luck and bad genes. Unfortunately, for some people, it happens. But by far the vast majority of us, that's not the way it goes. It's mostly outside factors that we allow to be too much, toxicity and things like that. So to me, with chiropractic and what we try and do with a human body is to make it as strong as it possibly can be. So that way, if you do, have a virus or a bacteria that is not good for you, the body recognizes it right away and can destroy it. So the big question we ask in chiropractic is, well, why can one man just sit over here? He hangs out with his partners and they're sick, and some people get sick, but then some people don't. So why is that? And I firmly might shock some of you, but the germ theory, you guys familiar with the germ theory, that germs cause disease and illness? I don't think that's true. That was a very old theory before we really understood bacteria and viruses. And to know that like our gut is full of about 10 pounds of good bacteria all the time. So, and it's just what kind of bacteria is going on in there. So a lot of that, when that germ theory was thought up, we really didn't understand germs and viruses. But we do know now that like we have viruses and germs on us all the time. So if germs and viruses cause disease and illness, I don't think anyone would be alive to believe in that still. So I just don't think the germ theory really is true. So let's talk a bit about what health is not. We have an overconsumption problem in this country, and that's a good idea, porn, that can be a problem. Overconsumption of medicine. So I'll let you know, I'm going to bash medicine some, but I do know that our country is really, really good at emergency medicine. So if you had a fall, a crash, or something like that, like our healthcare system for that is amazing. Like it is top notch in the world. I believe what we've done is we've taken an emergency approach to chronic disease and illness, and that's not a good answer. So in the United States, we typically get sick care. We don't get true health care. And we'll just talk some numbers here. We have a lot of zeros. So this in 2020, we spent $4.1 trillion. Some will say on health care. I really call it sick care. It's not health care. That's $12,530 per person. That's a lot of money, and that's per person. I mean, that's from a 1-year-old to a 99-year-old. And you're like, well, hey, 2020, that's when you started this pandemic thing, right? So I looked up the numbers. 2019 is $3.8 trillion, so it's not a big change from 2019 to 2020. The projected path that we're on in 2028, we're going to spend $6.8 trillion on sick care. So the per person average goes way up. And only 3% of that is actually invested in actual health care. So how much, and they're not tithing off this number, that's for sure. I guarantee you that. So a lot of what I like to let people think about, and again, I'm very biased toward natural health care, but if one is healthy, if you think about all the things, and we'll talk about this toward the end, and what it really takes to become healthy, and I know some of us are more mature in this group, so it's not too late to become healthy. The body's always healing, repairing, replacing itself. But a lot of times, how much money you're going to save by being healthy. So I see a lot of people, and it's sad that you see the lifespan. We work all these years to build up all this wealth, and so that you have your golden years so you can travel, enjoy your spouse, enjoy your life. But a lot of times people spend those last years in a home, and so it's not like you spend all the money that you've worked up for, you're going to spend it all in sick care later in life, and you don't enjoy your life at the end. So I really firmly believe that life should burn like a candle, like the way a candle burns, super bright from the beginning to the end, and hopefully that's the way it goes. But so who is your doctor? So doctor, when you think about what a doctor means teacher. So that's why I'm very passionate about teaching my patients, because most of my patients and most of you guys statistically are getting your health information from the television or ads. I mean, there's no ads in the Bible, thank God. I'm sure pharma could find a way to put ads in the Bible. But so we look about 80 pharma ads per hour. So some of these companies done certain drugs, like one drug that basically helps with allergies and eczema. They spend over $148 billion a month advertising these things. So 80 hours, and that's the 75% of all ads on TV are pharmaceutical related. 5% are fast food or junk food related. So if you think about what we're getting bombarded with, or your friends, your family, everyone you're bombarded with, drugs are good, fast food, junk food's good. So that's 80% of what people hear on television. And they're genius marketers. I mean, you want a good book called Pharma that really kind of explains how they did what they did. They basically create customers. They get people addicted to medications. It's sad. Yeah. Pharma. Nope, Pharma. Yeah, it's about 500 pages, 300s of material, and then the rest is all sources. Posner. There's another good documentary going on. It's Dope Sick. That's a really good one to watch too. And again, a third of these drugs are really needed. They're life-saving, but 2/3 are just created customers. And if we can create a good body, then typically we don't need these. Okay, so I'll slightly bash Lipitor because statistically probably 30 plus of you are on this medication. So I'll just give you a quick, this is why I call pharma the devil, because the stuff they do, and this is just some fun with numbers, right? So statin side effects, you can liver effects, increased blood sugar, pain, impaired memory. So some of you probably forgot about the side effects of statins because you're on them. And why bash statins? Because really only maybe 1% of human beings, or maybe 3% of human beings that are on this drug are actually benefiting from it. But 36% of people are having severe side effects from this. So what they do in their research, and they've done this with other stuff too that might be going on right now. I'm not sure what thing they might be lying about. But when we look about an actual decrease, so about 3% to 2% is 1% decrease. But relative decrease is 3% to 2%, is that's 33% change. So a lot of times when they promote their studies, they're doing their studies, they're not talking about actual decrease, they're talking about relative decrease. So you gotta really, I mean, almost have a PhD or be a scientist to understand and really read what they're doing and how they change the numbers. So what they did with Lipitor, relative risk of reduction of a heart attack, a primary event, is 36% reduction. So the way this study worked is they had a placebo group, which most studies should have. A group gets a sugar pill, and then one group gets the real deal, right? That's how science and medicine works. 3% of the people in the placebo group had heart attacks. 3.5% in the placebo group had heart attacks. 2% in the Lipitor group had heart attacks as well. Relative risk of what? 1.5%. Relative is 36%, and actual is 1.5%. So that's how they lie with numbers. So they got a 36% reduction, but only 1% change between the two groups. And one reason I bashed Lipitor, because I have personally seen this drug ruin patients' lives. I have one of my patients on this drug, and he has no reason. He's a healthier older man. Just put him on Lipitor, and he can't move his eyeballs anymore because this stupid drug wasted. Yes, sir. Is that okay if I ask a question? Of course, yeah. And if you want to ask questions, go ahead. I'm kind of shocked by that. I can see why they want to do it and how they do it. Yep.
But the other part of my mind is saying, well, how does the FDA or what if some government body allow them to do? Well, they're in their pocket also, right? Isn't that the answer? Or they don't.
What time is it, Ted?
Yeah. Nobody really watches out for you, even though there's agencies that are supposed to.
No, you think the CDC and the FDA are out to protect us.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll go back.
Yeah, watch Dope Sick, and you'll see that how they do it. It's disgusting. These guys were literally in a hotel room for 3 days writing the paper. People with the FDA there, people with Big Pharma there. So oh yeah. Watch who's the president of Pfizer right now. You know, he used to be on the president of FDA. So I don't know. It's kind of watch those people jump from one side to the other. So former presidents of the Pfizer or Moderna, then they're also in the FDA. So it's all created. So let's get to actual health. So fallacy of feeling good. So I'm sorry, we're kind of running quick. So I put this here. So this is really the crux of chiropractic. Chiropractic philosophy is the central nervous system controls and runs the entire body. So when we look at the fallacy of feeling good, and why I put this here is heart disease, cancer, stroke, number 1, 2, 3. In that order, early symptoms are typically none. So a lot of us will say, well, you're healthy. How do you judge your health? Like, well, I feel good. So if we look at the way our nervous system is designed, 15% of the nervous system feels temperature, vibration, touch, pain, and the rest of the 85% is doing this. It's running, controlling the body. So if we're relying on our body to say, oh, I'm feeling good, well, we're just relying on 15% of the information that our body's telling us to say, oh, I feel really good. And unfortunately, a lot of the last real symptoms of some of these diseases statistically is it's the event. It's the heart attack. It is the cancer. Unfortunately, it's the stroke. And it's not a joke, but statistically, a lot of you, I'm sure you guys know people have had these things. Another reason I bash pharma too, because if you look at the research, the number 4 or 3, it varies, is called iatrogenic death. Have you guys heard of that before? Iatrogenic death is doctor caused properly prescribed medications. The number 4 or number 3 killer of our country. It's not a chiropractic adjustment. So the first part, the far left one, that's a sperm cell going into an egg cell. So that might have been an accident. Let's hope not. But the whole process of the way the cell division occurs, this is kind of what I want you to think is the body. It's just cells. It's a lot of cells, and the cells are the things that you need to be healthy. If you make the cell healthy, then the body's going to be healthy. And that works from the nervous system level all the way to the viruses and the bacteria that are in your body. So this is just cell replication and division. So we are created to be healing machines. So the only part of your body that does not heal is your teeth, the enamel on your teeth. The rest of your body is constantly repairing and replacing itself. New skin every couple days. You get new intestinal lining every couple days. Blood cells about every 90 days. You get a new heart every 3 years. About every 10 years, you get a complete new body. How cool is that? But what are you feeding that body, or what are you giving that body so it becomes healthy? So I say it's not too late, because your body is always repairing and replacing itself. So if you give it the good nutrition, you give the good thoughts, you give the good movement, the cells are going to be better cells. And what makes a good cell make another good cell? It's our nervous system, and well as just our general overall health, and make sure we have the nutrition when it comes to that process. This is really cool to me. So this is a 22-week-old fetus inside the womb, fully developed hands, fully developed fingernails. What is the question? So could you imagine if you didn't trim your fingernails for about 20 weeks? That sucker'd be clawing its way out. So why did the fingernails stop growing? That to me is a really intriguing question. And it boils down to this idea of thing called innate intelligence. So when I think about innate intelligence, I think that's the inner God inside me. If your head's not clear, you maybe have some envy, you may have some lust and things like that. You don't think well, and you can't hear that inner God. You get those thought flashes every now and then, like that's your inner God speaking to you. So innate intelligence, there's innate intelligence, which every living thing has. That's the innate inborn ability of that species, that thing that wants to survive. No different than a virus that's going to keep replicating, and as it replicates, it gets less and less and less deadly because that virus wants to live. Our bodies are always doing the right things for the right reason, and that's because it wants to survive. And that's the innate intelligence in us, or I think this is the inner God. And then everything has what we call universal intelligence. So this is not alive, but it has this intelligence that keeps it together. And then same with our bodies, it just has this, it's a different thing called innate intelligence. So, health is simple. All we got to do is eat well, move well, and think well. Right? Super easy. So I'll just quickly give you some quick rundown. So eat well, just as I was talking, your cells. So you need to, so we got the heart healthy diet, we got the Atkins, we got all these diets. I don't think you can, well, I know you can't have the word diet without die in there. So constantly yo-yo on diets, you can't do that. And that's it's another big industry. They make a lot of money. Like they know that like, oh, someone's going to diet for a little bit. It's going to work for a couple weeks. They're going to lose a couple pounds, feel a little bit better themselves. And then they go back to the old ways. So it's more of a consistent thing that you're doing with as far as like eating well. People vastly underestimate the damage of a donut and highly downgrade the amount of energy or good things you get out of an apple. So eating well, if I had to go one way, one diet or one way to follow, it'd be following the the more of an alkaline lifestyle. So you probably see like this water, it's alkaline. If you look at a pH scale, like I was saying, if you look up an alkaline friendly diet, so you want to be more basic. So those chronic diseases and illnesses I showed you at the beginning, one thing all chronic disease and illness has in common is inflammation. So that's why you'll see a lot of the drugs that they advertise are anti-inflammatories. But if you can eat in a way to where your body is not inflamed, it's going to heal better and you're going to feel a lot better. So you'll know a lot. You'll realize once you start getting more alkaline, your body's going to feel really good. You can't just at the beginning, that too much, too little, so you can overdo it. So you got to balance it. You can't be too alkaline because the body likes that pH regulation. I know Ted wanted me to touch on gut health, so I'm sure statistically a lot of us has been an antibiotic recently. So I think of an antibiotic, it's like dropping an A-bomb on your gut. It's getting rid of that 10 pounds of good bacteria in there. So you need things like probiotics and things like that, especially after an antibiotic regimen. So make sure you're getting good probiotic. Which one? The one that you get and the one that you take is the one that you should take. So that's going to be the next thing when they figure out gut bacteria and what his gut bacteria is for him and what your gut bacteria is for you. That's going to be like when they finally mapped out the human genome. That's the next big thing. So when they figure that out, that's going to be huge. Moving well, vastly underestimate that 15 minutes of exercise. So it doesn't always have to be an all or nothing. That's only really true in pregnancy because either you're pregnant or you're not. But either you get some exercise or you don't. But it doesn't have to be a lot. If you want to get really good with moving well, when you do your exercises, make sure you get those hits in, the high intensity interval training. Just do that for like 2 minutes of your workout. Oh my gosh, I could go on for an hour of how good that is for your body. The biggest thing when you get that really high intensity is your body produces a lot more growth hormone, and that's what's needed for your body to heal. So especially with us men, especially as we get older, we need that growth hormone. That's one way you can hack your physiology is just get that high intensity interval training in. You can look at the zone levels of your heart, but you want to get to that zone 4 or 5. You can just Google that. And just getting up and moving. We know sitting, a lot of people have desk jobs. That's worse than smoking for your lower back. It just destroys your spine. And thinking well. The cool thing is I think I'm amongst a lot of guys that like to think well. Why else would you get up at 6:30 in the morning to come to church and with a bunch of other men? But this is a great group, and I really appreciate you having me. So if you think about all of these in a triangle, if we eat well, so I'm going to start a diet, right? I'm eating pretty good, so I might as well start maybe getting some exercise. So the cool thing, if you start one, it does start this trickle effect where if you start eating well, I'm eating good, so I might as well get some exercise. And then while you're exercising, wow, you're thinking about good stuff. So a lot of times if you start with one, then the next one just tends to fall in line, and then the third one takes care of itself. So it's not hard. It's what you do more on a consistent basis that's going to keep you going good. And then also bring it down to the cell level again. Think about your body. It's not just this thing. It's trillions of cells that are working together to accomplish this mission, which is to keep us alive. And our goal is to feed it what it needs mentally, physically, and spiritually, and that makes a big, big difference. And thinking well, praying is so super important. I know I can say that with good confidence here. Some people, you got to tiptoe around that, which is sad. But also meditation. You do need time to think. You need time to take care of your head because it's super, super important. Then my questions, we'll ask the questions at the end. If your why is not big enough, you will not endure the pain required to do the work. So when you actually work out, you got to sweat. You got to make it sore the next day. So when you think about exercise, inherently it's really bad for us. What are we doing? We're tearing up our muscles. We're tearing up our ligaments and tendons. But your body, it heals itself. So you're actually teaching your body to be a better healer of itself. And so that's why it is painful sometimes. It is painful to say no to that donut because why? Your brain craves it. Like some of the sugar and the gluten, all that stuff's addictive. It's just like heroin. So sometimes it is painful, but you can't say, oh, my why is because I want to lose weight. I don't know. That's a really good why, but I don't think sometimes that's a big enough drive to say, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this because I want to be around for my grandchildren. I want to do this to be a better, human being for the planet. Why do you want to do it? And what are you going to do of these? That's going to be your first step. Like I said, if you start with one and like, I'm going to do this, why am I going to do it? Then the others will tend to fall into place. That's all I got for you guys.